So we made it to episode 50 and the quarterfinals of the Europa League, and our opponents tonight will be... well, it's English opponents once more as we've been drawn against Newcastle United. We are going to be at home in the first leg. Since that tie against Aston Villa, we've played a few games in the league as well, and they've gone reasonably well. We beat Slaven Belupo 1-0. We beat Rijeka 4-0. We drew with our old club Lokomotiva. You may also notice that Vidovic scored in all three of this game, so switching him to be the front man to make room for Renier to go and play on the left wing has been working pretty nicely. Not only have we been performing well in the league, but our closest rivals, Osijek, have had a bit of a wobble. I'm going to be honest, it's a significant wobble. Out of their last, 6 fixtures, they've lost 3 of them. They've drawn 1. So they are now well off the pace at the top of the table. We are 8 points clear of them with just 7 games remaining. So even if things don't go our way in European competition, we are looking reasonably good for a domestic title. But of course, that's not the quest. The quest is to try and make a European final with a club from a country that have never produced a European finalist before. Croatia are one of those nations, but if we're to make it to the semi-finals, it's Newcastle United that stand in our way. We're going to be able to name an almost unchanged lineup for this Newcastle game. We've been able to keep the same starting 11 for 4 games running since those Aston Villa fixtures, and I think that's helped us. We've got a little bit of consistency in our play. We've had a nice week gap between each of the fixtures that we've been playing domestically. The only problem is we are coming off the back of an international break, and Kompon Bresnic has been away with Slovenia, and he is looking a little bit tired with all the football that he has had. Bringing in Leonardo Lello is a fairly like-for-like replacement. Otherwise, it's going to be what I now think is our strongest starting 11. Will it be strong enough to get a result against Newcastle at home in the first leg? Let's get out there and find out. And so here we go then. Newcastle are going to have plenty of familiar names in their lineup, as well as some players that will be familiar to us that they've brought into the club, like Billy Gilmore. They've got players like Alexander Isak still at the club. So they have got dangerous players all over the pitch. I think if we're going to make any progress, and it is going to be a long shot, the first leg, as it was against Aston Villa, could be key. As we showed against Aston Villa, we don't have to win the first leg to make progress, but I think Newcastle are going to be a step up again from Aston Villa. Although very early, Vidovic has escaped into the penalty area. He's received a pass, I think it was from Ante Pilchards, and he has played the ball past Muric in goal. And Newcastle have self-destructed. They give the ball away in midfield. Pavic plays it forward to Pilcic, and Vidovic now scores in their 4th game in a row. And they are proving that the switch to striker is working out very nicely for them. A goal up against Newcastle early in this game. I think we will pause, and I think we will praise, and we will go in hunt of a second. Newcastle have had their first shot. We've only had 2, but that's enough to give us a lead. And the game is pretty quiet, pretty cagey. Not a lot by the way of highlights. I guess if we could navigate this through to half-time and then reassess, that would be good, because it feels like Newcastle are coming back into the game. They've had the greater possession. They've had more shots than us. And they've got the ball right now through Frimpong, who drifts in field, and Isak is in. And it is a big save from Volstedt. I think Isak was offside. There's a little warning shot. Newcastle can create a chance out of absolutely nothing. We're up to 42 minutes. We are staring half-time in the eyes. We have a 3rd shot on the stroke of the break. And that is a good first half, although one without many highlights. So we've got pretty good performances throughout the team. Perhaps Renier has dipped a little, but we know from the Aston Villa game, he's got a goal in him. Sven Botman is on the ball now. Plays it all the way back to Muric. Now to Mark Gay, who seems to have transferred his allegiances to Newcastle. And they are through with Alvarez, and it is another warning sign. Volstedt just leaves it. It whistles past the post. We've got players like Pavic who are starting to tire. I think on 62 minutes, we're going to replace the poorly performing players and those that have run out of energy. A A second goal in this game would be huge, but on the balance of play, I don't think it's us that's likely to grab it. We've sent a long ball forward. Pilchich has actually managed to rob a defender. He has a shot that Muric tips over the bar. Pilchard's made something out of absolutely nothing there. And Ishak goes out to swing the corner in. Beckham rises, can't get his head on the ball. Cole Palmer has just come on for Renier, and he picks the ball up on the touchline. The highlight peters out. 5 shots for us, 6 for Newcastle. 2 on target apiece. 14 minutes to go. Sandro Tonali sends a ball in. Volstead claims it. Whose highlight this is, I'm not quite sure. Volstead goes long. Cole Palmer plays it back to Lello. Nice little touch. Pilchards gets the ball back into the midfield area. Now it's Vidovic, tackled by Guimaraes, gives the ball away. Mazambo plays it to Scott, and Newcastle are in. And we've managed to force the ball away. Vidovic is going to try and pick up the scraps. Perishek forces it towards the halfway line. It's getting a little bit frantic now. I think we're going to bring on our remaining substitutes, and it could just be a matter of trying to hold on for the final whistle. So on the balance of play, I think Newcastle probably deserve at least a draw, or at least that is how they will feel about it. I think they had a player offside in the box. Pembele clears it anyway. He barely gets it 20 yards. And now Newcastle swing another delivery into the box. Cole Palmer chases after the ball. Newcastle are first to everything at the moment. And it's Scott, and it's Alvarez, and it's Wallstedt that just tips it around the post. But Newcastle are really pressing for this equaliser. They've done a cunning corner routine to play the ball to the edge of the box. And now they're inside our area. Guimaraes is offside. But we really are living on our wits a little bit here. Vinchek's got the ball. Ricard on as a substitute for Ishak. Slings it to Palmer. We can't get the ball forward on that occasion, but we're going to have another go. We play it forward with too much urgency. Give it away. And Frimpong, who seems to be very influential now, was on the ball again. Alvarez is in. I'm pretty sure he'd gone too early. I think that's another offside effort. It looked a long way offside, that one. And I think we might just try and kill the game off a little. A bit of time wasting. We could keep a goal lead going to Newcastle. That would be a huge result for us. But they're coming forward again. Alvarez, involved in plenty of the passages of play that we've seen, hammers one over the bar. We go long with the goal kick once more. Guimaraes picks it up. Frimpong has got it again. We've got a minute of normal time to play. Ricard heads it clear. Again, it's coming straight back at us. Villa bangs the ball clear. Guimaraes picks up the second ball. And they're going forward again. They've hit a post. They're offside again. Let's pause this game. Let's go. Full time wasting. And see if we can just navigate this 4 minutes of stoppage time. 2 of them are done. 3 of them are done. 4 of them are done. We've picked up a 1-0 win in the first leg. I am not sure that we fully deserve that result, but it's something to take out to Newcastle for the second leg. Okay, we're back for that second leg. We've played another league game. We completely rotated the squad so that everybody's going to be fresh for the Newcastle match tonight. The second 11 got a 2-2 draw with Istra. It means that now at the top of the table, the lead has been trimmed a little bit. It's down to 6 points, but we have only got 6 games remaining. So as long as we don't capitulate, there could be a league title to play for towards the end of the season. Tonight, we're going to take that 1-goal lead, fragile as it might be, out to Newcastle and try and protect it. The fitness of the players is looking very good. We've made a couple of changes to the bench with some players who've been out with injury now returning. We've also got a really rapidly developing youngster, Keenan Baketa. If this save were to continue beyond this season, at just 17 years old, he looks like he could be a real prospect, one that the board would delight in selling from beneath me for a cut price fee by the time he's hit his 19th birthday, I would imagine. But that's for another day. We're going to try and concentrate on this Newcastle game tonight. We're going to need big performances from our big players. I'm pretty sure we're going to need to score again. Going to make it through to a semi-final of the Europa League. It is a packed stadium for this one. I hope our players are not going to be overawed. You can see the scale of the occasion from the size of the arena that we are playing in. We are just 90 minutes away from a semi-final. And although that would mean that we've not completed the quest, given that we didn't even make automatic qualifying from the Europa League, I would take a semi-final. I'll be brutally honest with you. I'm not hugely disappointed to have made a quarter-final because I thought Aston Villa would beat us. But now that we're here and we're just one game away, we can at least start to dream a little more. Frimpong has been brought down in the box by Renier. His body language has not been right for a couple of games. He thinks he should be starting more matches, despite the fact that he is starting most of them. But Theo Hernandez comes up, takes the penalty. He chips it towards Volstedt, who plucks it out of the air, and we live to fight another day. We've had a shot of our own. We've given possession of the ball away at the start of this highlight rather cheaply. We're going to have to do some defending, I think. Here is Frimpong, back to Gay. We're pressing them back a little bit, but they play through that press, and now Tonali has got the ball. He beats a man, beats him twice, beats him a third time before playing the ball to Alex Scott, who gets into the box, slices it wide of the goal, but this is taking up the pattern of the second half of the first leg, where Newcastle were just pressing and pressing and having chance after chance. They've missed an early penalty. We've made it to the half-an-hour mark. They're coming forward yet again. Frimpong shoots from distance. He goes harmlessly over the bar. We have at least had 2 shots on target. The bulk of their XG is made up from that penalty miss, so it's not been a disastrous first half. But just before the interval, Hernandez has a throw-in. Botman has been robbed though, and Artie Pilchards is through. Has the pace, but not the composure. Muric gets a hip onto the ball. It goes wide of the post. That would have given us something to really hold on to in the second half. Pilchard, still at the tender age of 18, fluffed his lines. All of our shots have been on target. We are still holding a clean sheet against Newcastle, but it's going to be a very tough second half. So we've made a little change for the second period. Renier really wasn't playing well and the body language was poor. Vidovic has gone over to play back onto the left wing, and the magic man, Tony Magic, has come in up front. We're on 51 minutes now. Avia puts in a tackle. We can't get the ball clear convincingly, though. And now we're being chased back towards our own goal. Here is Hernandez. He sends a ball into the box. Gilmore's winning headers. Isak's winning headers. Here's the magic man. And aren't we glad we brought the magic man on, because he has passed the ball back to Volstedt. And Alexander Isak has nicked in front of Volstedt, and this is poor from the magic man. He brings the ball down, plays a blind pass straight into the path of Isak. And that one is all because of the substitution that I didn't make. It must have been the assistant manager that told me to make it. We're still in this tie. We're heading towards extra time. We're on the hour mark. And we're going to try and bring on some more substitutes and hope that these ones have more luck. We're into the 65th minute now, and once more Newcastle are coming forward. I don't think we can complain that they've scored a goal over the second half of the first leg, and certainly the first half of this. They've been doing all of the pressing, and they've won their second penalty of the game, and I feel like the mentality of the players may just have let us down on the big occasion. Theo Hernandez is not allowed to take this penalty. Instead, Isak takes it, sends Volstedt the wrong way, and now we're in a spot of bother. Why are the players lunging in when the ball is running out for a goal kick? I think we're going to have to pause. I think we're going to have to change the tactic. I think we're going to have to go gung-ho because we need a goal to save the quest. Okay, we've slid players up the pitch. The DMs have gone into midfield. The wide players have gone up to be wingers. And we've got to try and find a goal. We've got 77, 78, 79 minutes played. We're not making any chances. Darwin Núñez has come on for Newcastle. He's played a ball back to Billy Gilmore. Now it's Hernandez. It whistles wide. We're not creating a thing. We're going to go even higher in our defensive line. We're going to press them even more. And we're going to go from positive up to attacking. And I think we might even need to make both of our midfielders get slightly further forward. We've got tired legs out there, but these are the players that we want out onto the pitch. But they're not creating any chances. We get to 86 minutes. Let's see if we can rejuvenate the side with some fresh legs for the final bit, especially down the flanks. We'll bring on 2 new wing backs. We're going to bring on Cole Palmer as well. We're even going to take off Pilches if we can make one more change. We can't. That is us done for substitutions. And we're now going to have to try and go very attacking. Newcastle have got a throw in. We've got potentially 3 minutes left of the quest. Darwin Núñez to grade him to Botman. If we can rob them here, we could counter. If Pilches had scored in that first half, how different it could have been. If I hadn't bought on Tony Magic at half-time, how different it could have been. We've given away a third. We've not. We haven't. Oh my God, we have. We've given away a third penalty. And there goes the quest in typically chaotic fashion. 3 penalties given away and a dreadful substitution by an inept manager. And a game that we were winning until around the 55th minute has now slipped away. Vinček plays it forward to Palmer. Is this one last hurrah? Pilches on cue with a clear sight of goal, 6 yards out, scuffs it straight towards the goalkeeper. We send the corner into the box. Rather than cross it back in, we let it go for a throw-in. And there is injury time played. And we couldn't get the job done. Eddie Howe is celebrating. We are mopping up our salty tears. If you look at those XGs, 3 penalties means that you're never going to win a game. And so it proved tonight. So our European quest may have ended, but we are now 3 games further forward in the league and we are playing Osijek top versus second and we are 4-1 up with just a few minutes remaining. And if my maths is correct, we should be crowned champions at the end of this game as we will have an unassailable lead at the top of the table. Is it a compensation for going out of Europe in such disappointing fashion? Not really. Have we succeeded in the quest? Not even slightly. Am I perturbed by that? Not as much as you might think. I actually do quite like failing at these challenges, eh? It shows that it was a worthy challenge to have taken on. As many of you will know, I'm not a huge fan of Football Manager saves that involve success coming too easily, and I'm not opposed to failing at them. It showed that we tried to take on a challenge that was pretty rigorous, pretty tricky, and certainly trying to reach a European final, only managing clubs from nations that have never produced European finalists before, and particularly when 2 of the bigger nations that we could have done that with, Norway and Switzerland, produced European finalists, so we couldn't move to those nations. I think making a European quarter-final after 8 seasons, maybe 9 seasons, was reasonable, but it wasn't the success that we had hoped for. Where did it all go wrong? I think it was some of my job moves that might have been a little squiffy. Should we have stayed in Latvia an extra season? Were we right to ever move to Lokomotiva? I think the jury is out on both of those things, but we have at least ended it by being champions of Croatia. This draws to an end our quest. We tried to make a European final. We came up short, but we had a lot of fun trying to do it. Thank you for joining me for the adventure.